welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, hit that subscribe button. Today I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit about myself, and I'm super excited because I asked you guys about a Q&A a couple days ago, and you guys gave me so much feedback, so I'm super excited to ask you guys some questions that you are wanting to know. So to start, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 23 years old. I'm from upstate New York. I'm a Buffalonian, Bills Mafia. I currently live independently. I moved out of my parents' house about 2 years, going on 3 years now. I moved out when I was 19. I moved out as soon as I could. I wanted to really embrace my full independence. I wanted to see everything that I could do. I was super excited to get out into the world, explore new things, see what really I could do really independently on my own. And like I said, I've been doing it for about 2 years now. I have a cat, I have a turtle, and I do take care of them. Even though I can't physically help them, I have found ways to adapt around my disability. I actually found a way to feed my cat on my own. I found a way to clean her cat box on my own, which I never thought I'd be able to do that. And it's made my life so much easier because I could do it on my own. If you guys are curious on how I do so, comment down below and let me know, and I'll make a whole video about it. So moving on past my fur babies and getting a little bit more into about me. So the only way I really know how to start about me is just to start kind of about my disability, because that's honestly where my story all began. I was diagnosed at the age of 6, if I'm remembering that correctly, because time back then is kind of a little blurry. But I was diagnosed at 6, and I actually didn't really start to feel my disability really take a toll until I was about 9 years old. It's honestly kind of funny how I found out about my disability. I don't know if you guys remember those really big slides. You would slide down them on the sacks or whatever. It was like a towel or something, and it was super awesome. They were super high, but there was so many stairs. And when I was 9 years old, or around that time, I was trying to climb up the stairs, and I was there with my family, and my dad and my uncle were wondering why I was having such a hard time climbing up the stairs, because I was doing it different than regular people would walk up the stairs normally. I actually was extending my leg out all the way to the side of the railing so that my foot wouldn't slide, and I had to kind of pull myself up the stairs. So that's kind of the first sign that we found out that I had my disability. The name of my disability is limb-girdle muscular dystrophy. It's a muscle disorder that basically affects your limbs. It affects your torso, your hands, feet, your neck, your legs, kind of my neck, but really just more so if I put my head back too far. But as you guys can see, I hold my head pretty good. I can move around pretty good, but it's just a muscle weakness. I just have a muscle deficiency. It can get a little better, but there's no way that I'll ever be able to walk again unless there's some type of gene, miracle type thing that they come up with in the next few years. I can gain some, but I also can lose some. It's a lot easier to lose it, unfortunately, rather than gain it back, because like I said, it is just a muscle eating type disorder is the easiest way to think of it. So like I said, when I was diagnosed at 6, basically from the year of 6 up until now, I'm 23, I've just been progressively getting weaker. Yet even though I get weaker, I have actually kept a lot of my muscle, and I have actually gained a lot of muscle back the past couple years, because I actually used to be super overweight, and I had a lot of problems with keeping my health good, keeping my weight down, keeping myself healthy, because it's just one of those things, being in a wheelchair, you just can't go to the gym and just work out like everybody else. You can't go jog around the block for 20 minutes. You're not physically able to do that. But come to find out, I actually had gallbladder issues, so I had to basically find a way around that, which is a huge reason why about 5-6 years ago I started to have really bad stomach problems, and I actually had to get my gallbladder removed. But ever since I got that done, I've been able to really control my weight, because now everything that I eat doesn't just make me feel sick. So I'm pretty excited that I'm on the right track to healthier lifestyle, which I definitely will get into talking about that with you guys. Like I said, I can get into how I work out, like what I do in PT, because I've actually been starting to work out more than just stretch, range of motion type. I can go over health tips, like what I do to help keep my body weight down, how I stay hydrated, because being in a wheelchair, we can't use the bathroom as much as we like. So unfortunately, hydration is a huge problem. So I can give a little bit of tips on how I do that, being in public, having to use the bathroom. So if you guys are interested in that, comment down below and I could do a video about that as well. So yeah, moving on from my disability, because my disability does not define me. So a little about my childhood. I grew up with my dad and my stepmom raising me. I also have a younger brother, a younger sister. Unfortunately, my biological mom couldn't handle the whole disability and she had her own personal problems going on back then. So I actually didn't have my mom in the picture. Currently, she does try to be in and out, but that's a whole thing, so we could get into that if you guys are interested. My real mom dipped out when I was diagnosed. Unfortunately, she couldn't handle all of it. Not everybody can, and unfortunately, it was my mother that couldn't. But thankfully, I have my stepmom who stepped in, so I had a mother figure. And I definitely consider my stepmom my mom because she's been here for everything. She's wiped all my tears. She's taken me to all my dances in school, helped me through all my boy problems. So I definitely could say I had a mother figure, thankfully. So yeah, that's a little bit about my growing up and my family and all that. I grew up in Buffalo, but the ironic part about it, I didn't go to any Buffalo schools. I actually went to any school that was outside of my district. I actually went to a few different schools because I had a lot of issues with bullying growing up. Unfortunately, when I was younger, I didn't have the guts to stand up for myself, so I would always come home, really upset about the kids that were saying stuff to me, kids that would actually do stuff to me. So my parents eventually would have to take me out of that school because it got so bad and put me in a different school, and unfortunately the same thing would happen. Unfortunately, the bullying kept happening until about 5th grade. Well, actually my second year of 5th grade, because I failed 5th grade because bullying was so bad the first year. So I actually had to retake 5th grade again. But I'm actually really glad it happened that way because I ended up in a school that I absolutely adored. I loved all the teachers, all the students were amazing. But unfortunately, I did encounter bullying to start in that school. But I think because it was happening so often and I was getting so much older, my dad couldn't really keep moving me around schools. So he actually ended up coming into my class with me and talking to the students and like pointing to his arms, his body, his legs, everything that my disability really affects. And as he started to break it down, I think the kids started to really understand and really grasp the idea of my disability, because it is hard to really understand what the heck is going on, because I can move like just like everybody else. The only thing is I just move a little slower or a little different. So being a kid, it's kind of hard to really understand what's going on. And I think that's a lot of the reason that kids do bully, because being a kid of difference for some reason is bad. And I hope to change that stigma. I want people to see someone who is disabled and not automatically think, oh, they're different, so I'm just gonna be mean to them, or I'm gonna ignore them, or I'm gonna talk to the person that's next to them instead of talking to them because I just don't know how to interact with them. The whole stigma of not knowing how to talk to somebody who is disabled needs to change, because honestly, we're all the same. We're all people. We all have beating hearts. We all breathe the same way. The only thing that is different is I'm in a wheelchair. I'm just physically look different. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason to make fun of people. So let's just stop that, guys. But yeah, I'm getting a little carried away because you guys know I'm all about advocacy and normalcy for the disabled community. But yeah. So I actually want to go back a little bit. If you guys remember when I said I live independently, I know a lot of you are going to ask, how do I live independently? It took me literally probably about a whole year to actually get out of my house and make sure that I would be comfortable, I would be safe, I would have everything that I needed in place in my new apartment, leaving from my parents' house. Because it is such a big change. I am going from having a house that has at least, 2, 3 different people in it if I need anything, and I'm moving somewhere else that it's just going to be me, and I'm just going to have to be able to deal with that and figure out the motions, and if something happens, what do I do? So basically, I sat down with my team, which I have a caseworker, I have somebody that helps me, figure out my funds, I have somebody that helps me figure out, if I could get help paying for things, because I only get Social Security, unfortunately, which hopefully would change because I'm trying to get a job soon. But that's actually a whole thing in itself too, because if I did get a job, then my Social Security would have to change, or they'd have to take it away, and that's like a whole thing that is just totally unfair to me, and I definitely want to hit that. I definitely want to get a little into society and disability, because there is a lot of things that clash when it comes to the real world and being disabled. I'd love to talk about it because I know that you guys want to know how I kind of get around those hurdles in life, and when things get difficult, what do I do? Do I just, sit down and cry about it, or do I go and try to fix it? Which, to be honest, could sometimes be both. So now I'd like to talk about relationship and disability. If you guys don't follow me on my other social medias, here they are. But if you do, you probably know that I am in a relationship. I've been in a relationship for 2 years, going on 3, and the way that we met was actually online, but it wasn't a dating app. We actually met on Instagram. He actually reached out to me, and it's funny because at first I almost didn't hit him up because, random guys texting you on social media, you're like, whatever. But something told me inside my soul, they were like, text this man back. And I did, and I'm super happy about it. I love my man so much. His name is Marcelo, for any of you who care or are curious. So yeah, he comes, he stays here when he can, he sees me whenever he can, but he's actually from New York City, so he actually travels, and he's actually the person that got me into traveling and why I have such a passion for it now, even though I haven't really traveled many places yet. But I am super excited, way more than I used to be, because now I actually know that I actually can travel, because somebody else actually took the time to figure it out and break it down and see what we could do. He's actually the person that got me super into traveling, because before, I had an idea that I wanted to visit some places, but I never really knew if it would be possible, because the whole idea of transporting my wheelchair everywhere and not knowing if there would be a Hoyer places, because I use equipment to help me transfer and stuff. Traveling just comes with a lot of anxieties and a lot of wonders and a lot of, you're not really sure what's going to happen, because the biggest thing when it comes to disabled traveling is when you have to transport your wheelchair or any type of medical equipment. Honestly, it's really hard to trust that the airports and the people that are transporting all of the equipment will actually take care of it, because so many times, more than not, people's chairs come back broken to them, and sometimes they're actually stranded wherever they're at, and sometimes people don't have insurance to be able to pay for these things. These chairs cost a lot of money, and unfortunately with traveling, like I said, we have to have the whole anxiety with it. So we can't just travel and enjoy it, we have to travel and make sure that we get to our destination and be able to enjoy where we're traveling to. So figuring all that out with Marcelo has been fun, but it's also been super stressful. But in the end, we always figure it out, which makes it super awesome, because there is ways that you can travel. You just kind of have to do a little more research, and you'll get to where you're going though. And obviously there will be places that I can't get to, that you guys can't get to, but that's okay. Take the small victories everywhere we can go, Hopefully one day everything will be super accessible and inclusive, and every person in the world will feel as if they have a place, and they won't feel as if they're left out or whatever type of feeling they're feeling. I just hope that one day the whole world is super inclusive, not only for the disabled community, but for the world. I just hope that one day the world is a so much better place. And that's honestly why I made this YouTube, because I hope to help get there. So to piggyback off of that statement, care is a big factor as well, because I can't bring my caregivers with me, so I have to rely on either my boyfriend or that friend that I'm going with, or that family member that I'm going with, which thankfully my boyfriend does help me. He's very good about it. He is super sweet. He does everything that I need. He makes sure that I'm super comfortable. Like when we're out in public, he's always like, are you good? Do you need anything? And he's very good with knowing when my anxiety is starting to go up. So all around, the main idea is, if you're traveling, travel with people that care about you, that will care to make sure that you are comfortable. So don't let anybody ever tell you you can't do something, because even though you can't do something their way, you can always do it a different way that works for you. But yeah, that's kind of all that I can think about really to tell you guys about myself. That's the basics. And I actually have a couple questions from you guys that I wanted to answer, because like I said, I did do a Q&A and you guys asked me a lot of good stuff. So let's get to it. Alright guys, don't judge me because I'm old school and I got a piece of paper, but let's get into this. Okay, so we have, when going on trips, are people accommodating, and what happens when they are not? So this is actually a really good question, because it kind of really all just depends on the day and the people, I feel like, because sometimes you get people that are just jerks and don't really want to help you at all, and sometimes you get people that are like so open-heartedly wanting to help you, and that's what I absolutely love. Because like I said, there's a lot of anxiety, unfortunately, that comes with traveling with a disability, so you want to make sure your hotel room is perfect. You want to make sure that you have everything you need. You want to make sure that You know, if you can't bring your accessible vehicle, you have transportation in a different state or even a different country. There's so many things that you need to worry about. And unfortunately, they will say things just to say it, to make you happy to hear it, so you book it. Because I've had places that literally told me they have roll-in showers, and I looked on their website and it literally has no roll-in showers. And I called them the next day and I was like, hey, you know, I'm just calling to make sure that my room is a roll-in shower. And they're like, oh, we don't have any accessible rooms at all. So then I'm kind of just like, oh, because you guys just told me that you did yesterday. And then, you know, it's just a whole big mess and confusion. So what I do in that situation, like I said, I make sure I call multiple times, many different days. I try to steer away from the hotels and the places and people that don't really know ADA policy or their own ADA policy in general. So I guess I don't really have a clear answer for that because I just started traveling. So really the most that I do, if I don't find a situation that is accommodating, I just find a different situation just so that I myself am safe with my own anxiety and worries. All right, number 2. You guys asked, what are my favorite video games and what shows and movies do I like? So my top 3 favorite movies is Back to the Future, all 3 of them, because to me that's just one movie, Mr. Deeds, and Footloose. But yeah, next question. Dream vacation spot. So literally for as long as I can remember, my dream vacation spot has been Miami. And I actually got to visit Miami last year and I loved it. If you guys could get there, please get there. It is gorgeous. The water is beautiful. The weather is amazing. The food, oh my God, the food is so good, guys. And not to mention, there's a lot of fun things to do. If you like to drink and all that, you know, definitely the place to be. But if you're not really into the party scene and big crowds and all that, you can go down to Fort Lauderdale, which is actually a lot more chill and relaxed, I feel like. Next question. Favorite ice cream? This one is super easy. I love any chocolate ice cream. Like just plain chocolate is great. I love like Oreo type. I love fudge, you know, any type that has chocolate. I love chocolate. That's it. You guys asked what I enjoy most about my days. I'm super excited to get up every day and literally just do everything for you guys. Like I love making these videos. I love interacting with you guys. But yeah, I would say that, and honestly just taking care of my fur babies. Moving on. Okay, this one I was really excited about because I love telling people this. Oh, I gotta read you guys a question. Coolest handicap accessible thing I've done. So I actually went to camp. It's called MDA camp. I went from, I think I was like 10 years old up until I turned 18. And it was the best thing to go to. You felt like you were on top of the world there. And one of the super amazing things that I actually got to do there, that a lot of us got to do there, was zip lining. And you know how like you put the little leg thingies on and you just let your arms go and you're just zip lining and you're just like letting your body fall free. The way that they did the zip line, they literally put it under our legs, around our torso. And you guys know you climb the little rocks to get to the top or however the zip line does it. But for people like me who can't physically climb the rocks or get themselves up to the way top, they actually had a pulley that like 3 or 4 of them would like pull us, and they just pull and pull and we go all the way up, and then they would get us up on top. I don't really know, like platform thing, and then they hook us up to the zip line. They're like, all right, you ready? And then they'll do the 1, 2, 3, and then you say no and they push you. They let you go on it as many times as you want, which I think is also amazing because they're physically putting in so much work just for us to have such a good time. And to me, that's so big. I love that. All right, next question. Ooh, this is a good one. Places I've visited. I feel like I kind of already told you guys places I visited, but it hasn't been too many places yet because like I said, I just got into the traveling type. But I actually have visited Philadelphia, and that's because I had my surgery in Philadelphia for my spinal fusion. I have been to Pennsylvania. I've gone to Miami, Florida, which I also got to see Fort Lauderdale a little bit. I've also been to Rochester because Rochester is where MDA camp actually is. Favorite PT workout, even though we all secretly hate it. So the reason I wrote this one down is actually, obviously it has to do with physical therapy, but I thought that the little comment was funny because I actually like therapy a lot, and I know that people literally hate it. PT, it makes me feel so much better every day that I go. I only go 2 times a week, but like if I skip a day, my body is like either super sore or my neck is hurting. So I would say that my favorite workout in PT would definitely be stretching, range of motion. I'm pretty good at knowing my muscles. Like certain days I could feel when they're more tired than other days. If I do certain things, I could tell if it's harder than it was, like I said, like a month or so ago. So those are the certain things that I would work on. So yeah, guys, that looks like it concludes my video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I enjoy videos like this because it feels like I'm actually sitting and talking to you guys and getting to know you guys. I'm going to try to post on a more regular schedule. Hopefully I'll be posting every Monday, and hopefully I'll be able to start posting twice a week. So if you guys don't already, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week.